Hello, everyone, and welcome to this different episode of the Worst Outcome podcast. I am Jay. I play Memor, the Centaur Paladin, and let me talk you through what we're doing here. Okay, so what are we actually doing here? This is a little side thing you're going to be getting on the weeks where you don't get an actual episode upload. This will feature a summary of the previous episode to sort of keep it fresh in your mind so you're not completely lost when the next one comes out. We will have any news or updates that are relevant to the podcast. Behind the scenes info, you'll find out what that is when you get it, maybe some bloopers every now and again, and it also gives us an opportunity to directly communicate with you, the listeners, to either answer any questions, or there was a previously mentioned shouting out our favorite and least favorite commenter and then insulting them. So maybe that will be done here. If you want to get in contact with us, best way to do it is to send us a direct message on Instagram. You can find us at twodndpodcast. Okay, so now let's get into the meat and potatoes of today's little upload. What actually happened last session? Memor and Nylan, as the session before, they found these weird leecher creatures. That's fun. That rhymes. Then they, stealthily killed one of them, and then this episode fought and killed the other. That all ended up well in the end. And meanwhile, Mud and Owen were traveling through a small tunnel system, left behind by an ant hag, which is a large insectoid creature. Mud removed its youth from this mortal coil, and then, after Owen had considerably weakened it with a flurry of attacks, fired a beam from his mouth to finish the owner of the eggs off. Uh, and after that, Mud and Owen crawl into the sort of bed area of the Ankeg and find evidence they had killed other people. Uh, that's a good point. While they were up there before, they found a large chunk of meat, which was all people. Afterwards, the group, once they had both finished their little tasks, met up again and then decided to split up immediately after, as there were two more paths through this forest that the leecher creatures had travelled that they had not yet. And Nylan, after being attached to a rope by Owen, because those two went together, he tripped over in a lake. I don't think they had to go into this lake. I heard nothing saying that the leecher creatures went in the lake themselves, but on their path they found this lake and then immediately decided to go in it. But it was a weird lake. It was a sort of staircase lake. Every so often there would be a drop, which Nylan nearly drowned in, perhaps. I don't know how deep the hole was. I was not there. Now then, I, Memor, and Mud, we teamed up. Mud rode along on Memor's back for a bit until we encountered the shack. It seemed that the leecher creatures had been in there at some point, so the Mud was a bit scared of the inside, so Memor went in. Inside, he found some sort of medical kit and a jar filled with humanoid, most likely. I didn't make a check to determine the actual nature. Organs. They were organs. They were in this jar, and that's about when the episode ended. We will be picking up next week, immediately after that. Right, for this next section, we're going to be giving an overview on some of the characters that we've got in the party, just to give you a better idea of who they are, what they look like, and what they're like. And we'll start off with Memor, as I am Memor's player. He he speaks like this. He is a paladin who, once he reaches level 3, as the party is currently level 2, will be taking the Oath of Vengeance. He is a centaur. He's 34 years old, which is around middle age for both humans and centaurs, though he does look a bit older than that. His hair on both his horse and human ends is black. He has a sort of samurai get-up with a general purple and grey colour scheme. His main weapon of choice is the glaive. He enjoys direct combat, and his brother, he likes him as well. And he's not a big fan of dragons. The reason will potentially be explained later. And he also doesn't like his brother that much. His brother's name is Melod. We will eventually meet him, hopefully, assuming my goal goes correctly, as Memor's current objective is to find said brother while helping people out along the way. Alright, now on to certainly a fan favourite, Mud. Now, Mud, he is a cleric of the Forge domain, as he gets his subclass at level 1. We're not exactly sure what Mud is. In fact, it's quite scary. He's quite small, only 4'6". He's sort of gnome stature and build, with a plumper body shape. He has a head considerably larger than that of a gnome's. He's got these two big black staring eyes, no nose, and just a mouth. When observed from a distance, it's quite a cartoony face, though it gets a bit more concerning when you get closer. He is made entirely out of mud, hence his name, aside from these eyes. And these eyes are actually compound eyes, like a fly would have, which is only a little concerning. His other strange bodily features include extendable arms, which could be explained away by his muddiness, as which also, I'm assuming, leads into his ability to turn his limbs into weapons, as displayed in the last episode. He transformed his arm into a mace, which he used to squash a bunch of ankheg eggs, and he's also got little fibrous things sticking out of his hands that allow him to scale walls, which is not concerning at all. We know for a fact his organs function differently. He can remove them, though he does still need them. There is actually bone in there somewhere. Owen reached in and found a skull deep within. At least we assume it's a skull. It may have been a big rock. Okay, getting past his actual physical appearance. As a person, he is not like how he is described. He is quite a happy guy. He likes his god, he likes helping people. In fact, he likes most things, though he doesn't dislike much. Only really when people are mean to him or creatures that could be deemed scary, such as the ankheg and its eggs, which I'm assuming is the cause for his rampage. And I've come to know that he is still changing in some ways. From what I understand, he's capable of growing gills, so this mud that we have now may not be the mud that we end up with at the end. Though that's none of our concern. He's only 2 years old, bless him. He's not even. I can't speak for a mud creature, but I assume they don't hit puberty that early. Well, yeah, that's everything we wanted to do for you. Hope you've enjoyed this. Like I said, if you want to get into contact with us, message us on Instagram at twodndpodcast. That is the easiest way to directly get in contact with me for these particular episodes if you want your questions answered or anything. And thank you for watching. We will hopefully see you guys next week when we upload our main episode. Goodbye.